All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining our live stream. We're going to wait for a couple minutes just to make sure that everyone can get in here that is trying to catch the live stream tonight. If you are tuning in and you attended two of our other Shark Science Month activities, please comment your name down below and which activity you attended, so that Katie can take the attendance and make sure that we have our folks that are eligible for a gift certificate in for the drawing that's going to be held later right here on our very own Wheel of Fossils. So again, name and which other two events you attended right there in the chat. While we wait for them, as you're doing that comment, also give us a shout out where you're watching from, where you are tuning in from. As we wait for more folks, quick reminder that this is the culminating event of our 2025 Shark Science Month. So we kicked off the month with that lecture of fossils under our feet at the Wando Public Library over there in Mount Pleasant. Next up, we had our Paleo Roadshow, our first Paleo Roadshow at at Common House Ale Works in Park Circle. Then we had our next event was the Shark Tooth Necklace making class at Nailed It DIY up in Somerville. Had a blast doing that. Thank you all so much for coming out to that event, as well as Nailed It DIY Somerville for actually hosting us. We thoroughly loved being in that space. Next event after that was our Shark Month Trivia at Holy City Brewing. We had a lot of folks come out. There were 17 teams that were playing and had 3 very excited winners there at the end. After that, we had our second Paleo Roadshow event, and that one was held at Indigo Reef Brewing. Our second year holding it there, had an absolute blast. And then this one is our final event. So again, if you attended 2 of those events that I just listed off, and then this is your third, comment your name down below so that we can take you in on the raffle for those gift certificates. Now, we're going to be doing a few different things this hour. We're going to look at some questions and comments from viewers of the channel on the internet, both from here on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. We're going to be looking at some questions and other comments. We're going to be doing blind fossil identification, seeing if I can get stumped on what I am holding in my hands, but not being able to see. And then we're going to look at some more questions and then do a kind of choose your own path of what drawer do you want me to open right over here that we normally let the Wheel of Fossils determine. I'm going to let you guys determine what drawer number I open. So I'm going to kick things off with some questions, and I've not seen these yet, so I'm very excited to hear what people have in their minds. All right, so this one was from BJ on TikTok in response to one of Ashby's Apron episodes. And BJ says, question I've had forever. Other fish have teeth too. Why do we think we're always finding shark's teeth on the beach? How do you distinguish? Well, BJ, thank you so much for the question. And it's an excellent question at that. Sharks have a distinct advantage as to why we find more shark teeth than fish teeth. And hopefully anyone that attended Holy City Trivia has a hint in the right direction for this. It's because in a single shark's lifetime, that single shark could lose anywhere from 20 to 30,000 and possibly even more teeth in its entire lifetime. So in terms of fish teeth compared to shark teeth, one, it's a numbers game. We do see fish teeth in particular fossil deposits in the fossil record as well. It just so happens that on our southeastern coast, we don't see as many of those deposits. And a lot of those fish teeth are small. So if you're looking for something like a little itty bitty wrasse tooth or a teeny tiny drumfish tooth, you might be walking over it and just simply missing it with your own eyes rather than not seeing it out there occurring with the shark teeth. But the bulk of the answer for your question, BJ, is definitely it's a numbers game. And sharks, they're just outweighing fish teeth like by an order of, I'd say, 10,000 to 1 for sure. Okay, so that's our first question. Let's do a comment for this one. And all right, okay. Anonymous BAS1C9 commented on a YouTube short that we posted of a modern tooth, and I think this was the modern sand tiger shark tooth that I found on Folly Beach. And Anonymous BAS1C9 says, that's clearly CGI. And you know what, Anonymous? Huh, you caught us. Yeah, we go around and we CGI teeth on the beach, and we film broken CGI'd shark teeth because it really gets the comments going. The 7-inch teeth, those are naturally occurring. Anonymous, it's not CGI. You clearly don't know that there are teeth littering the beaches down here in South Carolina. And there are literally places where you can take a step and your footprint is going to have like 5 shark teeth in it at the same time. We'll take pictures of teeth out on some of our beaches, and they're like teeth stacked on top of teeth, just with how many shark teeth are out there. So if anyone does have a CGI budget, I would love to get your contact information because, I've been wanting to do some stuff fighting a real-life megalodon, and, maybe Anonymous, you can help us bankroll that. So thanks for the comment, Anonymous. All right, let's see. Let's do another question this time. All right. Celebrate Life 865 on an Ask Ashby episode said, did you climb over the desk or crawl under it to get out of there? So here I am. I'm at my desk, and Celebrate Life probably is an astute viewer and might notice that the drawer is on the front side of the desk, and I'm sitting at the back side. Well, I can actually stand up and walk off screen here, Celebrate Life, and I can also walk off screen this way. So fortunately, I didn't have to climb up over the desk or crawl under it to get out of there. But I appreciate your concern about my being trapped behind the desk. That's really great. All right, and for those just tuning in, we have some more viewers. If you attended our other Shark Science Month events this year, comment down your name in the chat to let Katie, who's moderating, know that we have some of you folks that are eligible for this being your 3rd event, and you'll be entered into a gift certificate drawing at the very end. We're going to Wheel of Fossils the winner for it. And a little excitement, the top prize is a $100 gift certificate, and then our 2nd and 3rd place are each going to get $25 gift certificates, and we'll email those out to you. So definitely comment your name in the chat so that we know you're tuning in and we don't miss you. So I think it's time for one of our main events. It's very exciting. We're going to be doing blindfolded fossil identification, and I've got 10 fossils that I'm going to have to identify blindfolded. We're going to see how many I can accurately get, and to make it more interesting, I think I'm going to do all 10 and line them up here on the edge of the desk, and then I'll take my blindfold off, and then we'll reveal and see how many I got right. So Katie's going to be helping me out with this. I'm going to get my blindfold prepared. we can do a test and make sure that I'm not able to see anything so that the viewers know that this is legit, because, you know, if it isn't, it's probably CGI. Definitely have to watch out for that.
Okay, how many fingers am I holding up?
I'm going to say 2.
I think it's working.
Okay, all right. I cannot see a thing.
All right, your first fossil is in this. Do you want it in the cup?
Let's see. Let's put it in my hand. That'll probably be safest for the fossil. Okay. Ooh. Okay, this is a tooth. It's a long, skinny tooth. I'll let everyone see that. I can feel there are root lobes here. And there's something else I can feel, and I think that's going to betray the intrigue. This feels like a very large sand tiger, but there are a number of sharks that live throughout our planet's history that have big, long, needly-like teeth like this. And this one, I think I can feel there is a fracture right there at the tip. And that indicates to me that this is a goblin shark tooth from the Cretaceous, probably about 70 million years old. I remember collecting this one. It was a very large one. I was super excited, and then it broke. And I did a very poor job putting it back together. So I think fossil number 1 is going to be a goblin shark tooth. I'll set it right there. All right. Fossil number 2. Okay. Fossil number 2 doesn't give me as much information. It's an oblong fossil. It pinches in on the sides. It's narrower on this side. It flares out here and it flares out there. So to me, this says finger bone, probably from something like a dolphin or a sea turtle. That's going to be my guess. Get this up here. All right. Number 3. Oh, number 3 is a shell. I think something just fell out of it or off of it. Be a little more careful. This is from a video we haven't released yet. This is an imperial Venus surf clam. That is also known as the Pawleys Island shell, but it's a common, relatively common deep water clam species. So, yep, Pawleys Island shell for that one, or imperial Venus surf clam. All right, there's our other. Fossil number 4. Oh, okay. Fossil number 4 is a bit of a turtle shell. This one, I can feel a scute line running across right there. So that's where the scale sat on the outside of the turtle's shell that gave it the pattern that we see today. This one, also unfair. It's like the goblin shark tooth. This is a rather fascinating piece of turtle shell, because this one is not from a sea turtle. It's from a terrestrial turtle. And this particular one, sorry, I think I have a cat here. Okay. This particular one comes to a ridged point right here in the middle. This is where the vertebra attaches. This is called a neural bone. So the nerves supplying nutrients into the vertebra. That is likely from the Edisto Formation, which is a 24 million year old terrestrial deposit. So that's going to be most likely 99% sure that's what that particular turtle shell is. All right, fossil number 5. Ooh. We have a curved tooth. See if y'all can see that. Definitely shark tooth. This blade is hooked. It's curved really nicely. These root lobes, I have a sneaky feeling that those are parallel root lobes, indicating this is a paratodus tooth. Probably. I can't feel if there are cusplets, but based on the size, it's probably one from the Oligocene. So the 30 million year old paratodus or false mako that doesn't have a name yet. All right, get him out there. Oops. Whoa, okay. Fossil number 6?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I think this one was featured on either Ashby's Apron or Wheel of Fossils. I'm feeling a lot of bumps. I'm feeling a side that feels like wood or bone. I believe this is a trace fossil of shipworm borings, which is an invertebrate that tunnels through wood, and we have the steinkern of the shipworm in that piece of fossilized wood. Pretty sure that's what that guy is.
I think you're gonna get them all.
Uh-oh. Oh.
That's right.
Oh, big one. Big one. It has a branch, 2 different directions. This is a very nice chunk of antler, probably from a really large deer or a small elk that lived here during the Ice Age. I can even remember what site that one came from, if that's what it is. All right. Number 7. Okay. Thank you. You kept the hard ones till the end.
Oh, good.
Number 7 is rather nondescript in feeling. I feel a curved outer surface there. I kind of feel some other curved surfaces. I think what we're going to have to do for the next time we run this is have things sent in that I don't see, because I think what this one is a bird vertebra. I think it came from the same site as this one, this antler. So I have the bias of having collected these imprinted in my brain. If I did not, and I could be totally off base, this could be like some steinkerns stuck together. If I didn't have the potential knowledge, if I have this correct, I would have no clue what this thing is. I would probably say steinkerns, but I think I'm going to say fish vertebra. Okay. Number 9 or 8?
Could be easy. 9.
9. Oh, yeah. That's easy. We have a flat side, we have a domed side, and I can feel a little mouth right there. This is none other than a 67 million year old Holden Beach sea biscuit. That's what that is. Harduinia on the genus name. Okay. Oops.
That's perfect.
All right. And what is this, 10?
This is the last one.
Oh boy. All right. Let's see. I have a feeling this came from the same drawer. I think this is a colony of bryozoan or some other type of coral that washed out of Holden Beach as well. All right, there's Mr. Seabiscuit. Now it's time to see if I got 10 out of 10. Whew. It suddenly got bright in here. And how close to pitching these things off on the floor I did. All right. Fossil number 1 is indeed that goblin shark tooth that I collected out west. These look a lot like a younger species called Striatolamia. They also look like our sand tiger shark teeth of today, but they have some really incredible fluting or ridges on this domed part of the tooth called the lingual side. And if anyone wants to see a nice close-up of this tooth, you can go back and check out, I believe it was going to be one of the Wheel of Fossil seasons that we highlight that tooth. All right, fossil number 2. Yes, it's a digit, it's a finger bone, most likely from a dolphin. So that's a really neat one. We don't get a lot of the limb bones of marine mammals in the fossil record, primarily because the sharks love biting off the easy to get to parts of marine mammals, and things like flippers are pretty easy to get to and pretty easy to chomp off. So, one reason why we don't get these a lot in the fossil record. All right, next up, definitely one of those imperial Venus surf clams, aka the Polly's island shell. Um, this one probably is a modern species, but we also get these fossilized from the Goose Creek limestone. So definitely check out our Polly's video whenever it comes out, probably in a few months. This one is indeed that piece of turtle shell that I thought it was. Very distinctive shape, very fascinating articulation in there, running down the midpoint of the shell. Like I was saying, this one came from the Edisto Formation. And a fascinating thing about that is that we get this nice mix of terrestrial and aquatic fossils in the Edisto Formation. So, very poorly studied, very poorly understood time period in the Low Country. But this one ultimately headed off to a museum for further scientific study. Yep, we certainly do. We have parallel root lobes right here. So we have a false mako shark. The Oligocene species, again, does not have a species name just yet. This one is still left at Paratotus. We are waiting on a publication to formally describe it. All right. Yep. So I don't have very many shipworm fossils in my collection, and this happens to be one of them. So the shipworm, which is more like a mollusk, it's not so much a worm as it is an animal with hard shells in its body, will burrow through wood after, say, a tree falls down into the ocean, or even the hull of a wooden ship is sitting moored in port. Well, it wreaks havoc on the wood because it just colonizes all the wood. Think of like a termite wood or like carpenter bee colonies. Completely just drills away the thing. Well, this chunk of wood, probably over 18 million years ago, sank down to the bottom of the ocean, and all those shipworm tunnels filled in with phosphate, which then fossilized, they solidified with the phosphate, and the wood kind of disintegrated, and we're left with the steinkern of those shipworms. Pretty cool. Yep, we do have that branched antler of an Ice Age deer or elk. Very cool find. Okay, I think next up was the weird little thing that definitely, had I not collected it, would have tripped me up. This one is a bird vertebra. But again, if I had not ever seen this before, I totally would have said this is just an amalgamation of steinkerns. So that's kind of hard to make out. It's filled in with rock. So the light tan color in there is the rock. All of that is rock would have been a big giant opening for the spinal cord of the bird. So that is a really, really neat one. Next up, we do have a very lovely Holden Beach sea biscuit there, coming out of the PD Formation, about 67 million years old. Really, really fun fossils to find up there at Holden. And lastly, we do have that bryozoan. So anyone that goes out to Holden can often find these little bits that look like coral, and that is an encrusting organism similar to coral called bryozoan, still filter feeding in the ocean. So really, really cool pieces to keep your eye out for at Holden. And I believe maybe with some unfair advantages, I got 10 out of 10 on there. So yeah, next year maybe we'll have y'all send in some things for the blind fossil identification, or we'll get with some folks and have a bucket of stuff that then I've never seen it before, so that'll might help with the fairness a little bit. All right. Well, next up, we're going to do some more questions and comments. While we do this, while we have a bunch of folks watching, coming up, we're going to be doing live Wheel of Fossils, but instead of using the wheel, you guys are going to tell me drawer number 1 through 12 that you want me to open and pull something out of. So while we're doing the comments, go ahead and drop a number down in the comment, and I will go find a fossil out of there. Maybe to make it more fun, you could say drawer number, either 1 through 12, and then large or small. All right, and then I will pick something that fits that in the drawers. Also, while we are doing this, leave any questions that you guys have in the chat, and the final round of questions and comments, I will answer some live questions. So, from a Wheel of Fossils episode about a sea turtle skull, at Smiles0901 commented, "Hi, how is it distinguished from the way a clam or any shell is thicker at the joint with similar etchings?" Good question. So we had a fragment of a sea turtle skull that we were showing and identifying that this bone is from the skull of a sea turtle, and we can tell because it's so thin. Well, the crux of this question is really, how do I identify bone from an oyster shell or a clam shell? And the helpful bit of that is that you're going to want to look for spongy bone in between the outer wall and inner wall of bone found in the skull. So the shells that you might pick up, some of them can have, like, it looks like it's a bone because a sponge might have drilled through the shell and left some voids and holes, but we're really looking for a distinct sponginess to the bone. And the easiest way I can describe it is literally if you just slice a sponge down the middle, it's going to cut open these little pockets of bubbles. And inside a sea turtle skull, the bone that makes up the skull, and honestly the bone that makes up our own skulls, is going to have a very similar appearance in sponginess. So thank you so much, Smiles. Good question. Next up, let's do a comment. All right. So Peter Berkey, 3740, commented on a YouTube short of a great white shark tooth. And Peter Berkey says, quote, "Upwards of about 5.5 million years ago," end quote. "Yeah, right. And you were there to record the date. Such ridiculous propaganda. But every fairy tale needs some magic, and your magic is time. Lots of time." Well, Peter Berkey, wherever you are, wherever your parents' basement is, I've got this to tell you, that science has been around for a long period of time. And thankfully, to minds much more brilliant than my own, we have studied this planet intensively. And one of the tools that we have used to study this planet is radiometric dating. Now, everyone has heard of carbon-14 dating, and that is where we study the half-life of carbon as it degrades from one weight, which we call an isotope, to another. So any area we can sample, we can say, hey, there's been carbon here that's lasted 800 years, and we can tell because there's 97% of this carbon and 3% of that carbon, and we have this nice quantitative, data-driven graph that we can watch how that carbon decays over time, so that I could literally take a look at any bit of carbon anywhere in the world and tell you how old that carbon is. Now, carbon has a very short half-life, and it's great for archaeological remains, so dealing with humans, because most of our human sites we're looking at are in the order of thousands of years old. Well, the cool thing about radiometric dating is it isn't specific to carbon. It can also be on things like strontium and argon and zircon. And we can look at the radioactive decay, same exact principle that I said with carbon-14, but we can do it with elements with longer half-lives, where half of that element is left after 1,000,000 years rather than 1,000 years. And so you can take a look at that strontium, or you can take a look at that argon, and you can tell, hey, this is X amount of millions of years old because we are studying this rock, we are doing tests on this rock that are providing quantitative dates. So thanks to, again, mine's much smarter than mine. I just learned it so that I can help disseminate this information, hopefully at a digestible level to everyone. We are able to study the deposit where the great white shark lineage had that transition, so we can see when the extinct great white now suddenly has a successive ancestor in the tree, a younger species. We can study the rock and quantitatively determine how old that rock is. So thanks, Peter. Hope your mom is doing well and that the Hot Pockets are tasting good. All right, let's do another comment. All right. Oh boy, I love YouTube comments. Mark Wright 6045 on a YouTube short of a great white shark tooth, might have been the same one, said, I don't think a shark could live to be 5 million years old. Well, Mark, you are right, pardon the pun. A single shark can't live to be 5 million years old, and anyone that attended our trivia at Holy City Brewing knows that the Greenland shark is the one that is out there alive today on the order of a couple to a few hundred years old. But when I give the ages of individual species on this page, it deals with their lineage going back in the fossil record. So I was saying that the great white shark as a species goes back 5 million years. I know that can be a little confusing, so thanks for letting us clarify that. All right, let's see. I've got 3 more there. So why don't we do some Wheel of Fossils based on everyone's comments. You'll have to forgive me as I run off screen to go grab the thing. So who do we have up first, and what drawer and what size?
Christy would like to see drawer number 10, large.
A large item from drawer number 10 for Christy. Coming right up. All right, Christy, I think you might have had something in mind with drawer number 10, because this might happen to be the largest thing in those drawers over there. Right there is a very large item from drawer number 10, and this is not a real tooth. This is a fake megalodon tooth. This sucker is about, I'd say about 12 inches long, and is a 3D print that a client gave me on a trip. So they wanted me to have a nice big meg, and something that we've worked into various videos. You might see it from time to time. Definitely see it on Wheel of Fossils quite a bit whenever we open drawer number 10. So just know, you heard it from me right here. This one is not real.
Kyle would like drawer number 12, a large item.
A large item from drawer number 12 for Kyle. Let's take a look. All right. Whew. All right, Kyle, I got a large item right here. This one, so let me hold it the right way. That's pretty big. This thing is about 30,000 to 50,000 years old. We catch it just right in the light. It's going to be tricky. All right, there we go. You can see a line running across it right there, all the way over here to this point. This is the edge of an extinct giant tortoise shell. So not only is this a large fossil, it's from a large animal. This one, I think I mentioned, about 30 to 50,000 years old. Probably during the height of our last ice age, when the coastline was way further out than it is today, about 30 to 50 miles. That line on this is the scute line, like we were talking about with this other turtle, but much larger. And the thickness here is also another dead giveaway. So if we are collecting at terrestrial deposits and we find a turtle shell that's this thick, we know without a doubt it's going to be from a giant tortoise. All right, who's next?
Next, we have the Talented Magic Studios. Drawer 1, a small item.
All right, Magic Studios requesting drawer number 1 with a small item. Appreciate the love for the small fossils as well. Let me go find something from drawer number 1. All right. Let's see. Ooh. All right. How about the smallest item from drawer number 1? So, smallest item I have in drawer number 1. This little guy right there. It's hard to see, but this is something I say probably 200 times a day. Right here, that's a reef shark tooth. Now, anyone that has taken a tour knows that reef sharks, whenever I mention that, are encompassing 35 species at minimum. That's how many are in that single Carcharinus genus alive today in our world's oceans. Now, think of our black-tip sharks, our white-tip, our sandbar, copper, silky, dusky, bull. All of these guys are in the Carcharinus genus. They all have relatively similar-looking teeth. Some of them can be quite small, and this one came from our Barrier Island adventure site. Has a skewed shape to it, most likely going to be a posterior tooth from right back here in the corner of a reef shark's jaw. So thanks for highlighting the small fossils as well.
We're going to end with a large one, drawer number 11, Karen.
Karen, going to drawer 11 with a large fossil. Let me go see what we got. Okay, not much in drawer number 11, but I can pull out the biggest thing that's in here. It is hiding in the back of the drawer. So, this big old giant thing is a chunk of whale bone. We can see these grooves right there. Those are the elongated sutures where this bone grew against another bone. And this would have been in the back of a skull from one of our baleen whales. So those big filter-feeding whales. Now, this particular bone that flares out like this is called the basi-occipital bone. It's like right back here at the back of the skull, almost above where the spinal column and then the vertebra first attaches to the skull. Normally paired off, has another symmetrical side with it over here. So the largest thing that I've got in drawer number 11, right there. So that is our live Wheel of Fossils, with the audience determining where we pull from. Do we have any other additions, any other requests?
We've got a couple questions.
All right, let's see, we'll do your questions, then we'll do these questions and comments, and then if everyone is checked in here in a little bit, maybe let's say like 10 minutes or so, we will do the live Wheel of Fossil reveal of who is going to be winning our gift certificates. Let me work this back into the drawer. All right. What do we have for our first question?
Do you have a favorite fossil hunting memory?
Ooh, do I have a favorite fossil hunting memory? That is all right. I got it. One of my favorite memories is I took a trip out west with my parents, who are watching under Magic Studios 207 there in the comments. We went out west. It was a site that me and my dad had scouted out the prior year, and we had a blast. And we're like, oh my gosh, Mom, you have to come with us next year. It's going to be amazing. And we went out for a week, and we were going to be in creeks. And, typically a creek is going to be ankle deep or maybe knee deep at the most. Well, for whatever reason, this particular week in February was one of the rainiest weeks ever. And it just completely flooded us out of the site that we were supposed to be collecting at. And we're staying in an Airbnb, and we had to figure out, okay, well, we drove like halfway across the country to get out here for a week, and now we're stuck inside because we can't get into the fossil sites. So we tried to do some road cut hunting instead, and it was raining so much. I mean, we had umbrellas. We had to get like full on like Ozark Trail, nasty like plastic tarpy poncho and rain pants situations, and do everything in our power to stay dry for the entire week. And we wound up finding a couple of new sites, and one of them even produced some mosasaur teeth. And we wound up hunting that one for almost the whole week. And each day we would come back and we would just like strip out of our rain gear in the laundry room and like hang up the waders, and everything was a mess. And we were trying to keep the rental car and the Airbnb as clean as possible, but inevitably we left some mud behind. And I think the funniest thing from the trip was that after we were gone, we cleaned up the Airbnb. Like it was super muddy, and we left it in really good shape. But the Airbnb host messaged us a photo of a mud smear on the wall from one of the boots of our waders that had hit the wall, and asked, "Is this poop?" It's just like, no, it's not poop. We were in a lot of mud, and that must have been one spot that we missed. But it was a really fun memory, great time, and it was a great week despite all the rain. We found some really cool fossils.
William wants to know, is there a reason why most shark teeth he's found on beaches are either black or some shade of brown?
All right. William asking, why are the fossilized shark teeth that I find on the beach black or a shade of brown? And I had a piece of this earlier because we were filming for some upcoming videos, but I think I've worked it back. The black color that is imparted on all of our fossils, like this alligator vertebra that you might happen to recognize as, there we go, that vertebra. All of these, thank you, Katie, are preserved by a deep, dark black rock from offshore in the ocean. This little rock right here is called phosphate. And so phosphate, sedimentary rock that forms at the boundary between oxygen-rich ocean salt water and oxygen-depleted. So we call that oxic and anoxic water. This rock chemically forms inside other rocks. So you could have a sandstone or a limestone that this rock is then suddenly forming inside. Because it is super close in chemical composition to bones and teeth, it does an exceptional job at preserving and fossilizing all of them. And because these fossils were preserved with this deep, dark black rock, they turn that same deep, dark black color. Shark teeth primarily becoming fossilized in phosphate deposits offshore, hence their dark color. Excellent question. What's next? Do we have any others?
Not yet.
All right. Well, if there are more questions, feel free to shoot them in the comments. We're going to move on to these final 3 questions and comments from the internet. And then we'll have our wheel and we'll figure out who's getting these gift certificates. All righty. That's another YouTube one. I love it. YouTube short of a modern tooth on the beach. Darla Pool 442 commented, I thought they would be white if freshly shed. How can you tell it is a newer tooth? So they can be bleach white if freshly shed. I have, in fact, a super freshly shed sand tiger shark tooth right here. But they can also discolor a bit. Just like a bone might get stained a bit by tannins in a river. Marine mud can stain fossils as well. The Folly Beach one we found was sitting at the bottom of Folly River for a spell, and it's incredibly light in density or weight. So that coupled with the color and the fact that I found it on a beach that experienced sand that got pumped up from the bottom of the river, and the fact that the other fossils at that particular beach are super dark black or a deep brown, indicates that this is a fresh tooth, hasn't fully fossilized yet. Sometimes we can get ones that are called subfossils that have gone through maybe 3,000 years in ideal fossilization conditions, and then they get ripped up. So sometimes that happens, but for the most part, we are experiencing both modern teeth very rarely, and then lots of fossilized teeth more commonly on our beaches. So thank you for the question, Darla. All right, let's get to some comments. Okay, another YouTube comment, and it's about that great white shark again. At the Lone Wrangler 1008 said, 11,000 to 5 million is a heck of a time envelope to narrow it down to, and sent a crying with laughter emoji. So yes, while in human terms, a seemingly 5 million year span of time is vast and incomprehensible, in geologic terms, it's pretty much the snap of your fingers. Our planet having fossils going back 3 billion with a B years, and our planet being 4.5 billion years, 5 million years is a pretty tiny window, but I can definitely understand where you're coming from with the 5 million seeming like a big number. All right. So let's see. Another comment. All right. Thank goodness it's not from the freaking great white shark video. At Zesty Overlord 6772 commented on an Ashby's Apron episode about a tortoise leg spur. He said, I trust this guy and his channel's really cool, but realistically, he could just show me any rock with a scratch on it and tell me it's an extinct sea turtle shell, and I'd believe it. Well, thank you, Zesty Overlord. That is definitely something that a lot of our clients say on a near daily basis. They're like, how do I know you're not just making this up? Or you could tell us anything and we would believe you. Well, the fact of the matter is it's way easier to tell you the truth about something than it is to fabricate some bizarre thing, like telling you that like this is a caveman coat hanger or like a fingernail from a giant sloth or something like that. It's like I can't come up with something quick enough on the fly to try and convince you otherwise. It's a lot easier to identify the features on the fossil, tell you what I'm looking at, and help you gain the tools in order to identify something properly yourself. So I appreciate the trust, Zesty Overlord, and thank you so much for your watching of the videos and the channel as well. All right, do we have a couple other questions? Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Don wants to know, what is the oldest shark tooth you've ever found, and where did you find it?
Ooh. Oldest shark tooth. That one is going to be from a shell-crushing shark that came from out west. So they're a species called Tychodus, and just like turgiophores and pterodactyls, the P is silent. So that's Ptychodus, and their teeth look like little mountains or domed volcanoes, and they're just really incredible to find. It's definitely a species that is near and dear to my heart. They're hard to find at this particular site, but further west you go, you'll find deposits ranging from Texas on up the middle of the U.S., where they were under seawater over 70 million years ago. So think T-Rex roaming around in Montana, but down in the middle of our country was this big, vast inland sea, and lots of sharks swimming around through there. That time period goes back even further as well. So Kansas has a ton of fossilized shark remains that I would love to go check out. And maybe that is something for a future video or a future tour that we film about as well. Thanks for the question, Dawn.
Last question would be, do you have a favorite era of fossils to find or research?
Ooh, do I have a favorite era of fossils to find or research? It's a good question. I am particularly fond of the Ice Age. It was kind of like the starter realm of fossils that I really was able to get into. And what I love about it is that we have this overlap between animals alive today, like deer, and ones that are extinct, like giant sloths and mammoths and mastodons. My current research is on 30 million year old sharks. So there is a particular project that I'm working on at the moment. I just need to finish up the photography and the writing on it before I can share more. So that I'd say those two time periods are my current. The Cretaceous is one that I'm really getting into, though. Those shell-crushing shark teeth, the mosasaur fossils, all of those things are really, really fascinating. I have found one carnivorous dinosaur tooth, and if you remember, we featured it on an early episode of Wheel of Fossils. Maybe we'll feature it again sometime in the future because it's just that cool. So I'd say those would be my favorite finds. I can never give just like one. I always have to give a few. So I think we're ready. Oh, we only have... Okay. All right. So we've got two folks that are up for attending all three events. So let's see. Let's have, are we picking or are they picking?
They can pick.
They can pick?
Mm-hmm.
Whether they want an odd number or an even number?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Gus E in the chat, you are one of our people who have attended 3 events, this being your 3rd or possibly your 4th. So you're eligible for the gift certificates. And then also Kyle G, you have attended 3, possibly 4 events now, and you are also eligible for a gift certificate. So what I'm going to do, because it's just the 2 of you, I'm going to combine 2nd and 3rd into that $50 gift certificate, and first place is still going to be a $100 gift certificate. And these will be, redeemable as you can use them. So we're going to have you guys pick and
We'll comment odd or even, and then we can spin.
Okay, perfect. Yes, that sounds great. So go ahead and get your comment in as to whether you want odd or even. It'll be like roulette.
While we're waiting, we have another question from Cooper. Cooper would like to know what was your most epic find?
All right. Cooper asking what my most epic find is. I can default and say my most epic find was that raptor tooth, that dinosaur I was hinting at a couple minutes ago. But I already commented that one. So let me see. Let me figure out another epic find. Okay, here. I can't give the full answer, but this is definitely my most truly epic find. I've discovered a new species, and that's all I can say. I'll have to leave it at that. But that is definitely the most epic discovery that I have ever made. So hopefully more news on that to come.
Okay, we got Gus on odds, Kyle on even.
All right, Gus is odd and Kyle is even. I'm going to slide my table over so that Anonymous can see that I can exit it. All right, we got the wheel positioned right there. And I'll tilt it a little bit more towards the camera. That way you get a good view. All right, we got our position just right. So we're going Kyle, even, Gus, and odd. All right, we'll do our typical wave to start off Wheel of Fossils. And away we go. Oh, okay. So
It's on the red.
this is on the red. I know it's hard to see from there. And in fact, maybe let me just do this, just so you guys can see. When we do Wheel of Fossils, when we film, we go off of the plastic tab and not the point of the tooth. So the plastic tab is still stuck in red territory. It is not yet clicked over to the blue. So I want to set y'all right back down there. I'm going to remove the red while keeping it hidden. Bring it on up to y'all. All right, here we go. Odd. So let's see. That was Gus. Gus, you won first place on an odd number 1 right there. So congratulations, Gus, on getting the $100 gift certificate for attending three of our Shark Science Month events. We will have, if you can contact us, or we have your contact info.
I have an email.
Okay, perfect. So Katie is going to email you to get you set up with your gift certificate. And then Kyle, you're going to get the combined second and third for a $50 gift certificate. And Katie, again, will reach out to you as well. Let's see. We have, you guys are so welcome. We appreciate you coming to all of the events and checking us out. Let's see if we have any final questions before we go. I'll pan back here. Ta-da! All set up again. I think we had one other question.
Largest tooth you've ever found?
Largest tooth I've ever found. That one, it's a good question. Largest shark tooth is a 5.9 inch meg, but it's broken. It's unfortunately missing the corner of one of the root lobes. And then let's see, I'm trying to think of like largest mammal tooth. I have a mastodon tooth, and that's the one that's featured in the book. But unfortunately, I had to buy that one. That is not one that I found. So I guess I'll just leave it at the largest shark tooth. Mammals inherently have much smaller teeth. There's something else I thought about with that, but now I can't seem to remember. That's the perils of a live video, is you can't cut out the thinking time. If anyone has final questions, we'll hang around for a few more minutes. I want to thank everyone specifically for showing up to all of our events we did this year. Last year, we condensed all of this and we did it in a week, and it was a whirlwind of events. This year, we spaced it out over a month to hopefully make it a little bit more amenable for people to be able to attend all of the really fun activities. If there's anything that you want brought back before next July, let us know. Do you want to see another Paleo Roadshow? Do you want to see another Shark Tooth Necklace class? Do you want to see us doing trivia again? Because anytime we do trivia, we're going to have a megalodon tooth as the first prize. So yeah, we had a blast doing it this year. We thank everyone for showing up and for all of the amazing questions, both here in the chat and out there on the interwebs. Always feel free to do that. We have a new segment called Ask Ashby that we are filming, releasing essentially our second season of it coming up here very shortly. So anytime you find something that is interesting, you can take a photo of it and send it in to us. We do have a Patreon page. It's linked in some of our YouTube videos in the chat, where you can just, chip a few bucks our way as a support for identifying fossils. Usually if you just contact us out of the blue, we'll ask for a small little donation. But anything that isn't, then we're going to maybe save for an episode of Ask Ashby. Let's see, do we have another question there?
Have you seen the new Jurassic World?
Ooh, I haven't. And it's funny because I have seen trailers and I see that I kind of look like maybe one of the characters, and I might need to get some wire rim glasses if I wanted to look like him. But it's on my list to see. I still need to see the last Jurassic World where they're out in society. So yeah, that's still, I need to see that one before this one, I think.
Do you have any methods for cleaning your fossils that are a little delicate?
Ooh, okay. Methods for cleaning fossils that are delicate. I do have a method for that. I just so happen to be next to the drawer where those supplies are. Brushes are very, very handy, as well as old toothbrushes. Definitely tools that I will use on some. Now, if it is so fragile that it needs what we call consolidating,